Life can be so distracting. So here I am. I'm calling a customer, and I think I'm ready to hand over their drive with data because of their failing hard drive. And of course, Microsoft has no common sense. I'm sitting here waiting for de-encryption because Microsoft brilliantly thinks it's good to automatically encrypt your hard drive. They don't seem to understand a novice user, a non-enthusiast, doesn't even know what encryption is. So I went to drag or pull the drive out of my personal computer that I use as a utility to drag data around. And I went to plug it into her computer, and I didn't even realize that encryption was turned on that utility, on my utility computer. So now I have to wait for it to unencrypt. So I had to send the customer to dinner, and they'll be back. Hopefully, well, they have a crap load of data, so I might end up just saying, come back tomorrow, because de-encrypting or unencrypting a drive is dependent on the amount of data you have. And I'm sitting here, and this little bar has only moved about 20%. That bar there. So I just felt like ranting because Microsoft makes mistakes all the time. Just a couple weeks ago, both Amazon and Microsoft shut us down for a while, like days. They require us to log into these accounts. That's why I thought I had this copy of Windows set to turn off BitLocker, but it was a checkbox, so there's a good chance I just forgot to uncheck that box. Or check the box that says disable BitLocker. So I had to custom create my ISO. Well, it's the default ISO that comes from Microsoft, but I used Rufus to make it so that I can disable Microsoft's online account because I'm the professional setting up other people's computers and I don't want to ask for passwords. That just gets cumbersome. And of course, Microsoft makes mistakes. Not only did they make the mistake a couple weeks ago and disable part of their network, but they broke BitLocker. So because out of the box, Windows 11 encrypts your drive, you don't have access to your stuff if they screw up. Just the other day, I didn't even think that Microsoft made a mistake. A customer called me after I reinstalled Windows onto a new drive, because that's what failed on their machine, and I'm staring at a BitLocker issue. And because the customer is not savvy, they don't know what that is. I knew what it was, so we used another computer of theirs to log in and get the key. Guess what? They didn't have one. No key to unlock. So, thankfully, I had just reintroduced them to this hardware, and their data was also backed up into the cloud using OneDrive and another device. So, upon doing this, I thought about it and realized I'm just going to disable BitLocker because Microsoft doesn't have the common sense to understand that that's not a smart thing to turn on by default. They're assuming everyone's defaulted to backed up into OneDrive. They're assuming people are enthusiasts. They're assuming people understand what BitLocker is. They're understanding that they think BitLocker is easy to deal with because where you find the key, even I, dealing with this stuff every day, took me 30 seconds to Google it, but a novice user doesn't know what they're doing. I don't understand. So I'm just ranting because I've got nothing to do but watch this drive unencrypt because I told my customer I'd have their computer ready. Thankfully, they have other family within a block or two of here, but they came down from El Segundo, which is like, geez, that's a half hour on the road just to pick something up. And Microsoft is slowing us down. So I just felt like ranting. Life's been arduous. I stay busy even when it's slow. If I'm not getting paid, I clean up after myself. I've used some downtime to think long and hard. I've come up with some ideas. And it's going to be a slow, forward progression, but we're going. I think about these things all the time. The phone's bugging me with alerts, not having the common sense to know that I'm busy filming a video. That's the other thing that pisses me off. Apple and Microsoft, when the computer's busy and you want to transload a boatload of data, they don't have the common sense to tell the computer not to sleep. That's something I've learned years ago. And even today, if you try to transfer a boatload of data, it will go to sleep because their software developers don't have that sort of common sense. If you have 5 terabytes of data, this drive I'm dealing with literally is 5 terabytes of data. And that's why I'm thinking I might have to wait until tomorrow for this de-encryption process to happen. So anyway, these are the things that piss me off. These Microsoft developers have the insecurities of toddlers. Let's just change the UI for the sake of change, even if it's worse. Have you seen how to log in to Apple lately? The last 3 or 4 versions, managing the energy saver functions is stupid. I don't have one in front of me, but it shouldn't. The vernacular that gets it done involves telling the display to stay on. Whatever happened to the slider that said 5 minutes, 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes? That's gone. Why do they have to make it so confusing? Why is it when I do something more important than sleeping, it doesn't have it in it to transfer the data without going to sleep? I shouldn't have to tell the machine, don't go to sleep because I'm busy doing this. You should know that I'm busy doing this. How is it some software developer making $500,000 a year, has a 200 IQ, has the common sense of a corpse? I don't get it. The world is rotating slower because these software developers don't have the common sense to tell management to get out of their way. What's going on? Oh, it feels good to rant. I got a lot going on. Oh. Issues dealing with family, figuring out long-term plan. Don't know if this is going to be home forever, meaning I was born and raised in Los Angeles. I don't know where I'm going to be in 5 years. I put some money into some ads. That should change the way things happen. The vibe they give me is good. I don't like spending hundreds of dollars on revamping my website and paying for some ads in traditional magazines. But I have to try something different. Just not doing anything is not going to change anything. I'm not going to have suddenly a surge of busyness without changing something. These are the thoughts I think about. Oh yeah, I can get real cranky. I don't know. I've got a few business ideas. Finding your own direction can be difficult. Finding my own direction has been troublesome. I know what I want. It's figuring out how to get where I want. I can climb a ladder. I mean, I'm speaking figuratively. But which ladder? You hear a myriad of business ideas from the tycoons online. Yeah, it's real easy for them to say, oh, well, just be an arbitrage king. Go to a yard sale and go get stuff. Go get it for free and then resell it. Sounds really fun, but a lot of that free stuff is 10, 20 miles away. It's not free if you have to spend an hour on the road. It's really frustrating when someone massively successful in business is telling everyone, oh, it's easy, just do that. It's someone's distraction. Speaking of which, I've got someone on the other side of the door screaming. It's so busy. What was I thinking? I got distracted by someone's voice on the other side. Yeah, I wish some of those business tycoons wouldn't contribute to making everyone frustrated and feel bad about not being accomplished, because ideas like being an arbitrage master or go do the AI thing and be a master at that. It's not that easy, especially when you're trying to scrounge and figure out where you need to be in life. They're already where they need to be in life. Those business tycoons have a crap load of money. They don't have to worry about staying fed. If they stopped everything, they'd be fine. It's real easy to say, be an armchair business professional and say, do this and do that. A lot of these ideas they're come up with is not anything they've actually done. I respect what they've done, and I respect their intelligence, and I respect their gumption and their grit and how they got to where they are. But for them to be saying things like, oh, just go do this, when that's not the thing that they actually did to get their funds, that gets frustrating. I enjoy what I do. I think I'm good at other things other than computers. I know I'm good at interacting with people. I enjoy it. Everyone should hope so. I get paid for it. A customer should hope I enjoy the work. That's why I believe I'm good at not beating people up. My customer base encompasses the gamut from teenagers to the very elderly. That's how I know I'm good at it. I've seen all the personality types. I've seen all the age groups. And everyone loves me. I'm very good. But sometimes thinking needs to be said. We get stuck thinking all the time and not speaking out loud. When I'm alone, I don't necessarily feel lonely. In fact, I spend a lot of time alone, and I don't usually feel lonely. I actually need that time because I'm an introvert. I need that time alone. Because there's just so much chaos. It's just like that voice on the other side of the door. All she does is just slapping her lips together, speaking of nothing meaningful, at least to me. But those noises that just come at me in so many directions, it's distracting. That's the life of an introvert. Everyone is different. For her, she wants to talk about stuff that's frivolous. By my definition, not hers or someone else's, but that's my perception. Some people like to talk. I'll talk if I'm very interested. I think an introvert will talk all day for hours if they're genuinely interested. If you figure out the one or two topics they enjoy, we can talk forever. But we just generally don't have an interest in small talk or conversation that we don't have a deep interest in. As I age, I forgive those who've pissed me off more and more. I realize our parents, our extended family, our elders that we're not even related to, We're all just children. I see the innocence in very old people. Chronologically, I mean. We're all just kids. Some of us are very immature. But as I mature, I recognize that I'm outmaturing some of these chronologically older people. Some of them are in my family, which is where I first recognize it. Some of them are people I work with. Some of them are people I hardly ever interact with, but I recognize it because I hear them converse with others, sometimes with me. I realize that when people offend me, maybe years ago, I was ripped off. That person didn't process their childhood trauma. They took that trauma and slung it, and it hit me. So while it's not okay that they ripped me off or they slandered me, I don't agree with it, but I think I understand it. When someone's having a rotten day and they take it out on you, it's that rotten day, whether it's that day or deep-seated issues they never matured out of. Maybe they had a rotten childhood that you'll never know about. As I age, I realize the trauma I've incurred. I said incurred and accrued at the same time. Yes, both. Incurred, accrued, whatever. Two different words, two different meanings. Both me. I'm looking up because this tiny temporary office I have has a 20-foot ceiling, but it's like 100-foot squared. My landlord's given me a free little office here to at least temporarily take up shop until I find a longer-term situation. Hugely helpful, even though it's not a huge space. Oh. It's funny how the universe just kind of likes to throw little bits of work my way as needed, even though I'm not doing what I should. I'm not on course for the retirement that I want. If I was very busy 5 days a week, I'd be thrilled. But I think the universe is telling me I gotta find, even if I continue doing what I'm up to, I gotta find other things to do. Finding that direction is difficult. That's why I like to leave town every few weeks. Go to the desert, get a change of scenery, get a vibe change. Like the desert at this time of the year in the winter, it's beautiful. Summer, not so. It's beautiful in the summer, but it's uncomfortable. It's sweaty. It's just hot. Everything about you slows down. So, yeah, I enjoy the work. Today I did a job as a favor for a friend. Again, technical issues that a novice doesn't care about. I had to call the GoDaddy to fix her email. Some back-end stuff needed to be changed. And basically AOL/Yahoo sent her a really technical email. Hey, fix this. I'm not going to articulate vernacular that showed in it, but technical stuff. Yeah, I called GoDaddy. They're a big company. It's always nice to know that a huge company actually gives good tech support through the phone. T-Mobile, AAA, those are the three companies I thought about this morning. Because we all make fun of all these companies that have bad support, but those are three companies I use. and their phone support seems to be pretty good. It's nice to know a huge company is actually willing to take a little bit of what I pay them and pay good phone support. So that's what's been up to. That's what I've been up to today. Doing the email for the lady earlier. Getting this data transferred. This has technically been a few days later of me transferring data. And now I have to decrypt it. Now I realize, oh my God, she's got like literally 3 terabytes of data. It's going to take all night to unencrypt it. Microsoft. So anyway, I felt like ranting. It makes me feel good. It's the end of the day. It's like 5:30 in the evening. Monday. A busy day. I helped another customer, a longtime regular customer. That was straightforward. I thought I would be there 3 days, 3 hours or more, but I already set her up 3 years ago. I realized this visit, she didn't have to have me in her space half as long because I got her set up the first time. If you pay someone like me to back your stuff up and situate everything, any visited reoccurrence is a lot less time. So yeah, technically I had 2 house calls and 1 data transfer at the shop. But this data transfer, I'm making the least amount. It's the least lucrative job, and it's taking the most amount of time. And it's not even my fault. Microsoft. Turn off BitLocker by default. Yes, I understand I could have turned it off, but stupid of you to expect novice users to turn it on by default. Customers don't care. They don't know what it is. And if something goes wrong, like it did in weeks past, shouldn't have to lose the data. And you shouldn't assume a customer knows how to navigate your easy to get lost in website. I'm trying to keep it polite because I swear like a sailor. You don't really want to know every word that flows through this mind. Anyway, happy Monday night. Hope yours was well and productive and lucrative and safe and comfortable. But this is my therapy. Thank you, everyone. I feel good talking. Yeah, the neighborhood introvert needs to vent. Stay healthy. Yeah, the progress bar isn't moving. I hope that doesn't mean it's going to be all night. When you unencrypt BitLocker, there's a little blue line that goes across the screen. Like a progress bar as you install software. It hasn't moved in 20 minutes. Of course, I think this is the most amount of data I've ever unencrypted at 3 or 4 terabytes. So, here we are. That's really frustrating. I'm going to go home. I don't know what I want for dinner. I started using Amazon delivery for groceries. That's actually very convenient. I never really thought to use Amazon for groceries, but they kept suggesting it as big businesses do, and yeah, it's Whole Foods, so yeah, it works. Food's always good. Cheap chicken. I'm always thinking of little ways to improve. I started a new dental plan. I noticed a little bit of grime on the backs of my teeth. So it seems to be, I'm not going to gross everyone out by, well, I mean, I don't have, my teeth look good right now, but, or you can't really see the backs of my teeth, but yeah, I bought some new toothpaste and mouthwash, and yeah, let's see if we can clean up the back of those teeth without having to revisit a dentist. It's been about 9 years since I've actually seen a dentist. Problem is, I don't trust medical professionals any more than I trust my politicians. So I instinctively avoid them. I don't feel comfortable with them selling me stuff I don't need. I've seen evidence online that cavities can be cured. I have 2 or 3 cavities that have been filled over the decades. I think I have a total of 3 cavities since childhood. The last one I had was apparently in 9 years ago. I had a weird vibe though, because the dentist basically said, "Hey, you don't necessarily have to visit it right now, but I would suggest taking care of it." Well, then I'm doing other research and finding out fillings are not necessarily a good way to go, because they can crack, they can create other issues, and once you start losing teeth, you can have potential health issues. So I was a little perturbed to find out that there are organic ways to work on cavity cures. I understand that a lot of professionals don't want people just popping xylitol gum all day and suddenly they're a lot less busy. But that's essentially part of what I've been up to. So, again, like I said, when you're not busy, you clean up after yourself. Literally pull all the crap out of your car, pull all the crap out of your office, your bedroom. That's what I've been doing. Literally cleaning up my mouth. That's what I've been doing. Taking care of myself so that I can then take care of family and friends. I've had a lot of help. It's unfortunate. I don't feel like I've been able to help others as much as people have helped me. I give away a little bit of labor here and there. I give away some conversation. And a lot of times people don't realize. Sometimes people just want conversation. Some of my customers, I don't think they need help with their technology. They just like someone to talk to. Maybe they don't have good conversations with their family. Maybe they don't have close friends. Maybe they just don't know how to handle the aging process. They're intimidated. They're afraid of dying. Some of my customers treat me like a psychologist. All I can offer is words of wisdom. My job is pretty interesting. I'm in and out of houses every day, or businesses. I'm coming up on 28 minutes, or 29 minutes. This is just an exercise out of boredom. I didn't want to sit here and be non-productive. I have nothing to do. It's a little early for dinner. I'm thinking I'm just going to end up having to call my customer and tell them to come back tomorrow. It's a little frustrating. I set up their computer. The first part of this job was just to install an SSD. The customer couldn't figure out how to quite get it to be seen. I don't understand exactly why she wasn't working, because she physically installed it properly, but she said she couldn't get the installer to work. But what I'm guessing is that she installed the media creation tool and she tried to run it from within Windows and got stuck. She didn't understand that you're supposed to run it from a memory stick that's been extracted to, and then restart the computer. I didn't try to confuse her with exactly what was going on, but I essentially recognized the hardware was all intact and I reinstalled Windows. And then she says, oh, by the way, I have this other external drive that stopped working. Her USB drive, it's common for those drives to fail. In her case, she lucked out. 10% of the time, my estimation, I don't know what the actual number is, her enclosure failed. I went to go plug in the USB 3 cable, and the cable was so loose that if you were to hold the drive up, the weight of the cable would have fallen out. So she lucked out. I pulled the drive out of the enclosure and then plugged it in to one of my workstation computers, the one I'm dealing with now as it unencrypts. And it's given up the data. So she lucked out. So I went to transfer the data to another drive that she brought me, and it kept dropping off. So I was thinking it had other technical issues, because the amount of data that she has on the original drive was giving me different numbers than what it said it wanted to transfer, or that it did transfer. So I think it failed the first time, and then the second time it said it didn't finish. But then I let it sit a day and a night, and then the next morning the numbers are all more accurate. So I'm thinking it just takes a couple days for these numbers to settle when you're dealing with literal 3, 4, 5 terabytes of data. It gets frustrating. You can't articulate numbers accurately to the customer for literal days. So anyway, I guess I just gave you a half-hour rant. Thanks for the therapy, everyone. Have a good night.